Good morning, students. Since this is your first class for Civics, we will be doing Chapter 2, Union Executive, Part 1. So, before we move towards the chapter, all the student must understand what is the actual meaning of Union Executive. The organ of a government which primarily looks after the function of implementation and administration. So, this branch of a government is usually accountable for law and policies which are legislated by the legislature. Now, moving to the main topic of this chapter, president. Now, who is this president? Now, when you wonder about this thing, who is the president? Since India is a republic, our head of the country is the president. But at the same time, we must remember that India follows the parliamentary form of the government, where the actual power is in the hands of the parliament, which means the prime minister and the council of ministers. In short, president is the nominal head. If president is just a nominal head, then the real power is in the hands of the prime minister and his or her council of ministers. And our present president is Ramnath Kovind. Moving on to the next topic, what qualifications are needed in order to be elected as a president? A person must be a citizen of India first. He has completed the age of 35 years. He is qualified for election as a member of the Lok Sabha. A person shall not be eligible for election if he holds any office of profit under the government of India or any state government. Next topic in this chapter is composition of the Electoral College. Now, what is this Electoral College? These are the people who will elect the President of India. So, how this Electoral College is formed? First of all, President is elected indirectly. The procedure is indirect by the members of an Electoral College consisting of elected members of both houses of parliament, then the elected members of legislative assemblies of the state, including National Capital Territory of Delhi and the Union Territory of Puducherry. A presidential candidate will have to be proposed by 50 members of the Electoral College, which consists of MPs and MLAs both, and seconded by another 50 members. Next thing, student must know about election of president, how president is elected, how the process is done. So manner of election is done by single transferable vote system, under which all candidates are listed and the electors give them number according to his preference. Okay, so the voters marks as many preferences on the ballot paper. As there are candidates, once the votes are cast, the first preference votes are counted. If any candidate gets an absolute majority or more than 50% of the votes, he is declared elected. The most important point now, student must come to know why do we elect president in indirect way. So there might be question in their head going on. So the answer for this is, if you elect a president directly by the people, he could become a rival center, which is totally against the parliamentary system. And to avoid this also, the government follows an indirect pattern. Next point is that the membership in the two houses of parliament, if it is likely to be dominated by one party, election of the president merely by a majority of members of the union parliament could easily make him the nominee of the ruling party, just like a prime minister. So president could not represent the constituent states of the union. To avoid this also, he has been elected in an indirect manner. Next is your term of office. How long president shall hold the office? So he remains for a term of 5 years, or he can be re-elected also, or he shall continue to hold office till the expiry of his term until his successor takes charge. When we discuss about the procedures for impeachment of the president, so when we discuss the points for electing a president, how he is going to vacate the office, he is going to submit the resignation letter to the vice president, which will be communicated by vice president to the speaker of the Lok Sabha. Otherwise, if he violates any of the norms of the constitution, he will be removed from the office, and this process is called impeachment. Now, how this procedure for impeachment of the president is also carried out? When a president is to be impeached for violation of the constitution, either house of parliament can level this charge. So, for this matter, resolution must be moved after at least 14 days, which should be given in writing, which should be signed not less than one-fourth of the total number of members of the house. Resolution is passed by a majority of not less than two-thirds of the total membership of house. So here we come to the end of our part 1. In the next part, we will learn about powers of the President of India. Thank you.